Thank you very much, Deputy Mick Barry.
Thank you. Taoiseach, as you're aware, the Low Pay Commission issued its report and recommendations yesterday. I think the recommendations show that the name of the Commission is very apt, very well earned. It is indeed the Low Pay Commission. But in any case, there's been talk in recent times of leprechaun economics. I think here it is, pots of gold for tax evading multinationals, and insulting pay recommendations for the little people. So my question regarding promised legislation is this. My understanding is that there's a requirement to amend minimum wage legislation in order to change the rates. Is the government prepared to reject this recommendation and to go for something which will take low-paid workers out of poverty, because these are poverty pay rates?
Thank you,
Are you prepared to go above that? And just briefly in relation to that, settle on a rate far more in line with what low-paid workers need? And finally, the question of the Budget Committee, the House's Budget Committee. We
can't get into a second issue.
Is this the property of the Budget Committee? Does it have rights in terms of debating this?
Thank you, Deputy Taoiseach.
The Low Pay Commission was set up by the previous government to bring about a proper, structured and objective way of looking at the question of minimum wage recommendations. You'll be aware, Deputy Barry, before your time here, that the previous government reversed the cut to the minimum wage and increased it subsequently. And obviously the Low Pay Commission have made their recommendation here, taking into account their view of the economic road up ahead with the consequences of Brexit and so on. Now, the government yesterday agreed to give approval for publication of the report. That will be discussed here, I expect. The Minister for Jobs and Enterprise now has 3 months to respond, and the Minister will consider carefully this recommendation from the Low Pay Commission. Obviously, the Minister will return here in September, as is required under law, in respect of the decision, the proposal that you will make to government arising from the recommendation of the Low Pay Commission. As you know, there was a minority report as well as part of the recommendation. The reason for setting up the Low Pay Commission was to have an objective, structured way of recommending increases.
Thank you, Taoiseach.
It's important to say as well, Deputy Barry, that work should be seen to pay, and that it's very important that there be that incentive for people to want to go to work. But clearly, those on low pay, when you increase a minimum wage, it has a knock-on effect further up the line.
Thank you very much. Deputy Willie O'Dea.